Today is April the 5th, 2023. These are notes, or rather this video is the notes put together for a walkthrough structural summary from Mr. Henry Stanley on the inspection that was done on 4-3 at 1345 Simwood Place. Mr. Stanley, the first item I would like to look at and share some thoughts with you is on the elevation survey that we did. Here is our copy of the elevation survey. The first thing that we did was we sketched the footprint of the structure, and we identified areas that we wanted to take measurements. For example, at the front door is a 0 reference, and then you'll see that we went this direction and we took measurements in the corners. We took measurements at areas where it was easily to go back and repeat. We needed to do that later. Now, let me explain. We use a device called a CompuLevel. It's set for a 0 reference at the front door. It says 0.0 slant W. That means it's accurate to within 1/10 of an inch. It's on wood floor. We moved from point 1 to what turned out to be the lowest point in the structure is a minus 2.5. That's 2.5 inches lower than this point at the front door. 2.5 lower, 1.5, 0. So you see this point and this point are at the same height. These are lower, and then we start up. This is a plus 2.5 at a minus 2.5. There is a 5-inch variation between this point and this point. Now, the structure continues to rise back. This back corner is plus 5.5. That means it's 5.5 inches higher. The highest point measured is plus 7.5 at point A. Notice the highest to the lowest point is a plus 7.5 to a minus 2.5 is a 10-inch variation in floor height. And as you move through, the most pronounced area is probably in this center section where you go from a 3.0 to a minus 2.5. That's a 5.5 inch variation in this location. In addition to what most people would consider to be, let me restate that, and let me state that in a different manner rather. There is no standard for elevation variations on older homes. For new homes, the expected variation would be to not exceed 1.5 inches. But older homes, it's more of a what is tolerated and what is the homeowner willing to tolerate. A 10-inch variation is excessive for most people using that method of what would be typically acceptable. And in additionally, this variation is accompanied by doors that either rub, bind, or difficulty in opening, or else have excessive openings either on top, side. Those items are all shown in the home inspection report photographs. And then going over to the carport, we took a 0 reference at this point. This measures to be 3.5 inches higher. It's 4 inches, and this is 2.5 inches. And there are fractures in the carport area. We took the ceiling. This is 2.5 inches higher. This is 1.5. So this actually has a slope from the left toward the right in this area. The main concerning thing about this home is probably in the crawl space, and I want to review that with you next. I have learned that this homeowner apparently spent some $10,000 within the last 24 months on foundation repairs. if you'll notice, this is what's called a pilaster. This is what gives the structural integrity to this wall. There is an opening, meaning that this is leaning and it is not performing as it should be. Here is a similar circumstance on the curtain wall. This is where one of the piers has been heightened through the center section by adding a row of brick on the side. This is a case where a pier has been built out of dry stack blocks. You noted we've got 4 high, but it's placed on a concrete pad. It is not on a poured footing. Over time, soft soil will allow this to become less effective. Additionally, it's interesting in that this is a 4x4 and 1 thickness of board that was placed across here. That's atypical for foundation repair. Same here. Here's another situation that, of course, this is not structural, but there's some damage in the subfloor from water that needed to be addressed. One of the biggest concerns under the crawl space is this item. This item is standing water, and standing water is in this area concerned for a couple reasons. Number one, the soil will either shrink or swell, but it will be the cause of foundation movement. That's number one. And then number two, water on wood components over time causes fungus activity, and many people refer to this as dry rot, but they are components underneath this crawl space that are a concern. Here we've got a limited number of vents that allows a dissipation of moisture from this area. The ductwork, I don't have a picture of it. It's in the home inspection, but the ductwork is on the ground. It is missing insulation, and that's also contributing to the condition of the wood that's under this area. My opinion on the structure is this home is a candidate for major structural repairs. This would include reworking of all the deteriorated wood components, and there are pictures of some damaged floor joists that are present. It would include leveling of the floor. It would include dealing with the water intrusion concerns. The topography is such that water comes from higher level toward the street and then toward the home and winds up underneath the crawl space where it is not draining. There's a lot of structural concerns that are still in need of repair. One instance on the exterior, you show the curtain wall is leaning on the rear, but none is any more significant than the standing water in the crawl space. In fact, some loan types, such as FHA, will not make loans for homes that have standing water, such as is present at this home. It would be my recommendation that as a minimum, you get quotes from reliable contractors to do the foundation repair. Again, I would recommend leveling of the structure. I would recommend repair or replacement of all components in the crawl space that are deteriorated, and also installation of multiple additional piers that are supported on poured footings that would be considered to be long-term and permanent, and in most importantly, some type of drainage plan that would divert water away from the structure and out from underneath the crawl space. This is a minimum of what I feel like that you'll need before making a decision whether or not you should pursue purchase of this home or not. Thank you very much. My direct number, sale is 601-966-1291. I would expect that you would have some questions. Please feel free to call me so we can discuss. Thank you. Jimmy Halfaker.